All right, hello and welcome to Twitch Tips 2.0. Hi, it's been a long time since that prior video came out. I made that video about a year and a half ago, and a lot has changed since that video was made. And I've had a lot of great positive and negative comments about that video, which was great because it helped me to learn what I need to do. So I've been for a while wanting to make another video because Twitch has changed a lot, and a lot has happened with me in general myself. And I have learned a lot from that, and a lot of things have come up since then. So I thought I would talk about that again. So to kind of give you some updates real quick. So if you are watching from that video to this one, I'm now officially a partner on Twitch. At the time I made the last video, I wasn't. I'm now the U.S. community manager for XSplit. If you guys don't know what that is, that's the program I'm actually using right now. But it's also a streaming software program that you can use to stream, record, and do anything you pretty much want on here. So I've gained a lot of experience, like professionally, on the streaming side and the working side and all kinds of things. But kind of another disclosure, this video most likely will be very long, so there's always those people who come in and be like, this video's so long, how is it? Well, you're here for tips, so I'm gonna try to help you. And I'm not the pro streamer, but I'm sure I have a good knowledge to try to help people out that with things that they're trying to accomplish on their stream. So this video is going to go in a 3 steps, for tips for beginning streamers, tips for streamers who've been streaming for a while, possibly going to the road to partnership, and a few partnership tips for people who are partnering on Twitch. So we're gonna try to hit 3 in 1. And usually when I make these videos, it's all in one take. I don't edit them at all. Usually I kind of go rapid fire, so I might say something wrong, or I might go back and say something. So that's just kind of how I roll. So if that's not what you want to see, then you probably should click out of this video now. If you want to hear really good tips that can help you out, then keep on with me. All right, so let's start this out. So some tips for beginning streamers. I've talked about this before. And I was at TwitchCon, I had a panel on this, and this is a very important thing. One thing I could think of is that when you start to stream, and you're thinking about it, you gotta kind of think about if you really want to do it. A lot of people see other people's success on Twitch and they want to emulate that. I always think that you should go into it wanting to do it for yourself and not trying to emulate someone else, because someone else's success is probably not going to come the same way as yours will be, or possibly. So you have to think about what you want to accomplish on Twitch. If you want to gain a community, if you are having fun with it, or all that kind of stuff. For me, when I first started, it was just the hobby. It was fun. And there was a point in my life where I wanted to take it more seriously. So you got to decide for yourself. You also do not want to buy a bunch of equipment at first. I mean, streaming is very expensive, just in general, just to stream. It's very expensive. I will tell you that. There's a lot that goes involved with it. So when you first start off as like streaming, you want to slowly upgrade what you got. You don't want to use the things that you already that may help you out. At the time when I first started streaming, I had a laptop that I used to stream off of with my Elgato capture card. That's what I used at the time, and that got me by for a little bit. Pretty much for maybe 6 or 7, probably almost a year into a year, I was using a laptop on streaming. My quality wasn't the best, but I tried my best to upgrade it slowly and slowly. But you want to also see if streaming is for you. That's why you don't want to spend all this money on it starts off as a hobby, but you don't want to spend so much money on a hobby that you don't know if you like or not. What I've always suggested to people is that if you have a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One, at the time when I made the first video, this wasn't an option at all, but now it is. You should start trying to stream off of those. They have, you can create a Twitch account on there, and you can start streaming right from the systems and see if you actually like Twitch streaming. And console streaming is like a whole nother beast. Like I'm not gonna go too much into it because that would spend a lot of time. But that's a good way to start. to start gaining a community, seeing if you actually like to be on camera, if you want to have no camera at all, which is always good. I mean, there's streamers who want to be on camera and there's streamers who don't want to be on camera as well. So you got to figure that out for yourself. So at this point, let's say you have already started streaming, you're liking it. So here's some things that you shouldn't do. All right, you shouldn't do. There's kind of a unknown. Well, there is not unknown. It's kind of a hush hush like etiquette thing on Twitch that like a lot of broadcasters follow. It's just kind of the code. Like you just don't do that kind of thing. One big mistake that a lot of beginning streamers do, and you know what? I don't want to say mistake because some people are okay with it, but I know a majority of people are not okay with it, and I'm one of these people who are not okay with it. Having people coming into your stream who who are a part of the community, but they kind of are self-promoting themselves. One thing that you shouldn't try to do is talking about your own stream in someone who's currently casting stream. You don't want to go in and be like, hey, I'm about to stream, or hey, you don't want to go in there and say, hey, I'm a streamer, or say anything about your stream at all. I know it sounds really bad, but it's kind of like, the streamer is having a party. This is the easiest way I can think of comparing it to. The streamer is having a party, and then someone else is coming in and saying, hey, I'm having a party over here, but then the streamer's like, what? We already have a party going on over here. We have the party going on right here. So thanks for the invitation, but we're having a party right here. And then if you're kind of keep going with it, hey, but no, I'm about to stream, so I'll see you later, about to stream. Anyone else? Like, it's kind of like that. It's a little bit disrespectful in my eyes. That's why I don't like when a lot of people. There's a lot of people who don't know who I am. They don't know I'm a streamer. I'll go into streams that they don't know who I am, and I just talk as a regular person. You want to just be a part of a community, and the streamer will find out if you're a streamer. Trust me. Like, I always check after a broadcast, if people follow, I go check them out, see if they're a streamer, kind of watch the stream. Broadcasters will find out, so you don't want to do that. And I guess an easy way to kind of having them find out you're a streamer is following them on social media. If you have a thing saying that, hey, I'm a Twitch broadcaster, they can see right there if they want to decide to follow you or not. That goes into another tip is that you don't want to force people to watch your stream or to follow your stream. As a beginning streamer, a lot of people get in the mode of, I'm trying to get viewers, I want people to watch, and a lot of it spills into streams that they already watched. And so it makes me feel uncomfortable sometimes when someone is like, hey, can you follow my stream and check me out? I have a lot of viewers, and a lot of them are streamers. I do check them out, but I don't have time to check out every single person. And you don't want to force people to watch your stream because you don't want people to be forced to watch it. It's that awkward thing where it's just like, okay, I don't have. I mean, I will watch, but you don't have to be like, hey, watch my stream or follow me on. It's just very awkward. It just makes it very cringy for me a little bit. But I don't know. That's why I say these are just tips from my personal experience. I'm sure that there's people who will disagree. There'll be people who will agree. So it depends on what you take it. But don't force people to watch your stream. Don't force people to follow you. It's always weird. Just don't do it. Another tip is that when you start to stream, you want to be on social media. Social media is a great way to informing your audience that you're going to be live streaming or what time, if there's changes, or if you have something going on. They will know, hopefully, by following you on Twitter. Twitter is the best way. Facebook, I don't really use Facebook. I don't know a lot of people even use Facebook for Twitch, networking, so I couldn't say anything about that. Instagram is okay too, because people could see the streamer outside life of streaming and all that stuff, so that's good. But Twitter is the best way of doing that, and that's also, to go back to another tip that we have, that's how a streamer can find out that you're a streamer. If you follow them back, they tend to look to see who this person is, and if your name hopefully is the same, and there you go. If your name hopefully your name on Twitter is the same name on Twitch, because if it's not, it's very hard for us to, like, for streamers to know. There's a lot of people who have different names. They don't have, you don't know who they are. And if you don't ever tweet or say anything like, hey, I'm blah, blah from your stream, it's very hard to know who the person is. So hopefully you have the same name on Twitter as Twitch. Let's hope that. So another thing I was thinking about, as a beginning streamer, that you want to make sure to be consistent as you can. That's a really important, being consistent. I know I had a problem with it, and I've always had a problem with that. If you work, I mean, we all know that Twitch is like you may have stuff going on in life. You may have a full-time job, you may have a part-time job. So stream when you can, but you want to be as consistent as possible, because people want to know, like, okay, when are you streaming? When are you streaming? Okay, when are you streaming, and when can I catch you, whatever. So at least try to have at least a decent schedule where people know, or have it on a panel or something like that. You can do that. Something else that popped up in my head is that this is based upon your opinion, and it's up to you if you want to, but this is how I feel about it. Like, if you just started streaming, I think for at least the first few months of streaming, until you build an audience, I don't think that you should have I know a lot of streamers have it, but I don't think you should have a donation button or donation bars or any of that, just because of the pure fact is that you want to stream, everybody's different. Everybody's different. So this is why when I make these videos, I always gotta remember that. But for most people, you should want to stream for fun. It shouldn't ever be for money. But there's always that one person like, I want to make money, so I'm gonna stream. But you want to stream for fun and not for money. So I suggest not having any donation bars or any donation button until after a few months, until you're comfortable with streaming, and then you build a community. If you want to put the donation button on, that's up to you. Or after a few months, if you want to put the donation button on there for people to donate, if they want to tip you, that is okay. One thing I will give you a really quick tip to do, and this is for any streamer at this point. You want to make sure that because there are chargebacks. If you don't know about Twitch donations and Twitch tips, one of the services that pretty much everybody uses is PayPal. Twitch alerts is a thing that people use to show up the donations as alerts or followers and all that kind of stuff. But PayPal, they've gotten a little bit better about this, but they're still having issues with it, where if you don't know what the chargeback is, basically if someone donates to your stream, people donate hopefully to support you, to donate. But there's those people who either donate to be jerks, to try, or to do something, probably have a message show up and it's offensive to the streamer, or they do it and then they're like, oh well, I don't have money, so I'm gonna take it back. Chargebacks are horrible. They're horrible things. I've dealt with a chargeback before, and basically what happens is that someone will donate to your stream, and then PayPal, their policies are changing, but you pretty much, I think it's either 2 to 3 months, that person can go back and charge back what they sent to you, pretty much. So no matter what amount of money they send to you, they can charge it back. So basically, I could talk about this story. So what happened to me, someone over maybe a 2-month period of time altogether donated $20, $5 here, $5 there, whatever, through 2 months. Maybe a few months later, that person charged me back, and I ended up getting a fee of over $100, because each time when someone disputes a chargeback, that's a $20 fee against you if you lose. So each chargeback, it's $20, so that adds up really quick. And if it's a lot of them, and the bigger streamers deal with this a lot, you can rack up a lot of fees on you because the person charged you back. So it's very hurtful to the streamer if you charge back money. If you're not donating out of goodwill, don't do it, because it's very hurtful, and it hurts us because, you know, we get money taken out from us that just like that we end up having to pay for, that, you know, it was supposed to be out of the goodwill of someone else. But like I said, streaming shouldn't just be for the money, but you know, donations, that's another thing. But like I said, PayPal is working on that. But one thing I ended up doing, and what I was told from PayPal themselves, is that like on Twitch alerts or whatever program you use, or on your panel, right on there saying, like, you know, when you decide to donate, you are agreeing that this is not a sale, you're not receiving any sort of goods from the streamer, and just showing that, and making sure you have messages, or like showing anything, having all the evidence you need if you ever go through a chargeback, to just have that on there so people know when you donate, you cannot go back and charge me back and then try to win, you know, because I'm not giving you anything, I'm not selling you anything, you're not receiving anything from me. So, which sounds really horrible when you think about it, but that, I mean, you're supporting someone, so you can't like go like, hey, here's some money to get you some food. Oh, what? Okay, let me take it back though, because no, you can't have it. Like, it's just sucks. So just be aware of that. Just be aware of that. So, but because the hold for chargebacks is a ridiculous long time, and I don't know a lot of people who hold on to money like that in PayPal, because sometimes they need it for rent, or they need it for certain things, because, like, you know, depending on what you're streaming for, if you are using donations, you might need it for something to pay for, like a bill or something, because there's a lot of streamers who do it for full time because they don't make enough money at their job, or they don't have a job and they need to stream to do it. I did that. I was out of work for a few months, and I had to stream to just make ends meet. So it was really important that, like, if people were seriously being supportive of me, they were being supportive and not just doing it and then, you know, oh, I don't have the money, I'm going to take it back, because it really hurts everybody in the long run. So that's another thing. Trolls. Oh man, people talk to me about that. Trolls. Okay, so let's see. Trolls is a big thing on Twitch. When you decide that you want to stream, you need to be prepared that there are going to be people who are going to come in and try to say something about you, about your stream, or just try to get attention. I've had several different situations of trolls. For beginning streamers, I always feel bad for them because they don't know how to deal with it. But it's always good to have a moderator if you do have someone that you know who's coming into your stream, and who will be a moderator for your channel, to make sure that if something happens, they take care of it, they ban someone. You can also use banned words on Twitch, or if you have a bot like Nightbot, Unkbot, Moobot, you could put words in there that you don't want to be said to be offensive to people. You can put that in there that someone will get banned if they say it. But how to deal with trolls, that's like a big subject matter, and I'm gonna kind of briefly talk about it. But if a troll comes in, says something about you, it depends on what kind of person you are, because there are people who will fight back with the troll, or they will entertain the troll just to be like, all right, well, you know, maybe we could change it to a viewer. I'm the type of person is that if someone comes in and right away talks smack about me, or just right away just crap about me right away, or anything, I don't want that kind of viewer in my community. Because there's no, for me, if you come into a stream being an ass, like, I don't really want you there. I don't want you around. Like, I don't really think there's no changing of that. Like, you're just gonna possibly most likely be like that. Of course, you'll have your friendly troll who will just be a troll person who will just always be, they'll be a nice troll. They won't be really disrespectful. They'll just come and troll around, which that's fine. I'm okay with that, because I have a few people who come and troll or whatever, and they do their thing, they get their laughs, and they're cool. That's fine. They end up being really cool people. But like serious trolls, you need to be very, very aware of that. There are certain categories on Twitch now that there are literally people who are waiting for a new streamer to pop up on there, and they will go in there and talk whatever about them. as a female streamer, as a male streamer, any race, they will wait for a streamer to pop up on that category and just go in. Definitely, it's always good to report these things. I know a lot of people feel like Twitch doesn't get on that, but they do look at that. You have your viewers report this person, have the messages that the person is sending to you in the message so they can see that. But there's so many different levels of trolls as well. There'll be the troll that you ban and they come back in with another account. You can report that, and that is technically ban invasion because you banned the person and the person came in with a different account and trying to troll again. There's not always, but most times there are those trolls they'll get banned. There are trolls who will get banned and they will leave you alone because they're like, all right, well, I'm gonna go somewhere else and troll more. But then there's those trolls who don't want to stop, and they'll keep going, and they'll come back and come back and come back and come back. And you just have to, unfortunately, you got to keep banning them. You got to make sure you report these accounts. And then you have the troll. This is the ultimate troll, I feel. The troll that goes from Twitch, and if you have any social media or anything like that, that troll will go onto your social media and try to do stuff on there to try to catch you up, try to talk about you, try to do little things. I've dealt with all kinds of trolls. I've dealt with the ones who come in, they're banned, they're gone. Dealt with the ones who come in, multiple accounts, you get rid of those and they're gone. Let's see. And I've dealt with the ones that come off of Twitch onto Twitter or go on my social media and they want to talk all this crap and whatever. So that when it comes from them coming from one platform to the next, you can report these as well. Blocking is definitely a good thing for sure, but I mean, this is the internet, and people, there are weird, crazy people out here who will harass, and they live off of it, which is very sad. But you need to also protect yourself, so make sure that you just block these accounts. If it's a continuous person, unfortunately you have to just keep trying to report it, and having people who watch your stream who are witnessing it themselves reporting it as well. It's better to have more than one person reporting, but don't do false reports, no false reporting, but just having someone else who was there or other people that you know, and it's a really truly someone who is harassing you, having them report it, because then someone will see that because more than one person's reporting it, and if it's a real one, they'll take care of it. So that's what I have to say about trolls. Let's see, what was another thing that came up? View botting as a beginning streamer. Woo, yeah, there's a lot of beginning streamers who think that if you don't know what view botting is, basically it is a service that people will buy fake views, fake follows to up their view count, just to get to be higher in a certain game category. And it's very obvious to notice when someone's view botting. If you have like 130 people in your chat, or it says there's 130 people in the chat, and you look at the viewer list, and there's only like maybe 30 people in there, that's view botting. But there's also people who may think that someone's view botting and they're not. When you get hosted by another channel, if you get hosted by a few channels, whatever, and you're streaming for a long period of time, a lot of those channel views and viewers add on to that, and it may look like you're view botting or not. So that's where people sometimes think that. But don't view bot, no. And especially that Twitch is now like handling this, like they have put out statements that they're taking care of these services that provide view bots. It is not a good look, and especially if you're on the road to partnership and you think that view botting is a way to get ahead, it's definitely not, because one, you need to think about this. Let's think here. If you're gonna view bot with fake views to get partnership, say you get partnership, if everybody in your stream is fake, who's gonna actually subscribe to your channel? There's not gonna be real people to actually subscribe. So what is really the point of going for partnership and faking the people who are there if you don't have real people to support you by subscribing? Doesn't really make much sense if half the viewers are all fake. And plus, it's like you lose a lot of respect from a lot of people when they find out that you're view botting. So that's definitely a thing. But there's also people who will purposely view bot someone out of spite. And when that happens, that is a big issue that I think that they still need to work on, because this happens a lot on Twitch, that people will maliciously go viewbot someone to think either they think they're helping or they are doing it on purpose to get this person banned or in trouble. If you are streaming and you get viewbotted, you can report it. Twitch does know the difference if you're doing it yourself or if if it's happening to you. So do not panic. There is a view botting guide, which I'm gonna post the link for it in the description below, that you can follow if this does happen to you. Do not worry. Do not freak out. What you don't want to do is, in the whole time, do not change your title saying like, I mean, it's kind of indifferent about that, like putting in your title we're being view botted, because I think it just brings in more trouble than it does just like leaving it alone. If people ask like, are you view botting, and you're clearly not, you just say I'm not, like this is happening. But it's just with view bots, it's a sticky situation that hopefully will get fixed. But it's not a good thing to do. Don't do it, because it's not worth it, because it just makes you look worse, because people will either know or people will come in and say stuff to just whatever. It just looks bad. What is some other stuff? So I'm still thinking about beginning streaming stuff. Definitely not buying all this equipment, just doing it over time. Use what you got, which I talked about earlier. Games is a big thing on Twitch. I think as a small caster, it is, especially when you're trying to think of what kind of games to play. And this is also going to spill into like if you've been streaming for a while as well. Like, you know, say League of Legends and Counter-Strike are usually the top streams on Twitch. It is very hard to be seen in those streams, because like you'll be all the way at the bottom, and there'll be these streams that have like thousands and thousands of people, and it goes in order of what amount of viewers are in your stream. And if you like League of Legends, if you're willing to deal with that, you know, you just gotta be prepared. If you want to play these games that have the big categories that a lot of people are streaming it themselves, you just have to know in yourself that, look, it's probably gonna be hard for me to be seen, but I like this game enough to just stream it. So you need to keep pushing it if that's what you're gonna go for. But also, if I started playing an off game. I mean, it's a known title in the gaming world, but on Twitch it's like, you know, it's not, it has a community of people, but it's not a huge community. I started playing Resident Evil. That was one of the games that I played a lot, and a lot of people know me for that, which it can be a blessing and a curse at the same time. But you know, you got to pick a game that you actually enjoy. You don't have to play the same game that all the time, but there are people who do play the same game at the same time. So it just depends on what you want to do. I like streaming a lot of different games. Before I was partnered, I did stream a lot of the same games, because a lot of my viewers did come from that particular game category. And then after I got partnered, I played whatever I wanted. But it just depends on what you kind of want to do. But you cannot get discouraged on, you know, I'm not getting viewers, or, you know, I'm not getting viewers I'm not getting viewers at all. You got to think about it as the game that you're playing, or what are you doing? A lot of people don't know. Like, is your quality good? People will come in and you literally have 2, 3, 4 seconds to impress this person enough to stay. If your stream is looking crappy, or if people can't hear you, if things are off, it's just not, you know, it's hard to do. Hold on, there's a beeping going on. Oh, that was an edit right there. There is someone's car beeping outside. Anywho, but you just gotta decide what kind of game that you want to play in the long run, that you want to enjoy. Don't play a game to get views, especially like games on new releases that are huge titles. Like, if you honestly want to play the game because you want to play it, but don't expect a lot of people like to show, because a lot of people are playing it themselves, so you can't get mad at them for not showing up to your stream because they want to play it themselves. So you just got to be really aware of that as well. I'm trying to think, as a small streamer, what else you should be aware of. I mean, just Yeah, I don't know. I think like a lot of this beginning streamer stuff like kind of melts into, intermediate streamers. Not okay, not intermediate streamers. Streamers who've been streaming for a while. For a while. Say you've been doing it for like 6 or 7 months, almost a year. Um, so at this point, say you've been streaming for a while and you are trying to decide, this is at a point when you've been streaming for a while, if you're going to do it, if you really want to do it seriously, or if you're still doing it for fun. If you're doing it for fun, that's good. Keep doing what you're doing. You can stop at this video. You don't need to get any further than this, because if you're streaming just for fun, you don't care about like partnership or anything, you're good. You're good to go. Thank you for being here. But if you are now wanting to take it seriously, trying to go for partnership, then you gotta, this is now, here we go. And I'm gonna tell you what you should do. When you're trying to go for partnership, you need to make sure that you have a good community of people. You got to make sure they are showing up, that, well, not like they're showing up like as like, are you present? Are you here? But you just got to make sure that you have a community of people who are there to watch your stream. Twitch looks at your community of people, and that's actually a lot of ultimately what gets you partner is, if are you having viewers? Are people showing up? How long are they staying for? There's a lot of stats that go along with partnership and all that stuff. And you need to also be aware, this is a big thing that I wanted to talk about as well. Like as a person who wants to go for partnership and social media, that is a big thing. When it comes to social media, and a lot of people, I'm not trying to tell you what to put on your own social media, but this is to make you aware. As a person who works in the gaming industry now, and when I worked for corporate, like, marketing agencies, social media is a big platform. You need to really be aware of what you actually put on social media. If you are a person who is just like racist or whatever, or if you post like really crazy, like graphic things, or just like really rude things to people, and you're saying, hey, Twitch, can I be partnered? Oh, well, actually, no. We shouldn't say it like that, because this is more on the professional side of stuff. If you want to be sponsored, okay, we're switching it from partnership to sponsored, because this is also a tip. Because if you want to be sponsored by a company, you need to be very aware of what you're putting on your social media, because a lot of sponsors will look at your numbers and what is on there. If you have a bunch of stuff of like just you going off saying crazy things, or you saying offensive things to people, no one's going to want to sponsor someone who is like that. They don't want to put their brand on someone who is a rude person, who will affect their brand negatively, and people won't buy their products because, well, why are you guys representing this person that's just like horrible? Like, I don't want to buy your product. So just be aware of what you put on social media, because of the fact that, one, you don't know who's gonna see it. It can affect your life forever. Like, I've had several jobs where they looked at my social media right away, and they, either they decided right then and there if I was gonna get the job or not. And luckily, I had common sense to know not to be crazy on social media, because that stays with you forever. And a lot of these brands can see what you write. If you write about them, say you don't at them on Twitter or whatever. This is just from prior experience to like my previous jobs before. I worked for a corporate company, which I won't talk about, but when you even say their name, they can see that. So if you're like talking crap and you're like, oh, well, this product sucks, but I'm just not going to add them so they won't see it, they can still see that, and they can still drop you from that. So that was more on the lines of, sponsorship stuff. If you're looking for that later on as a partner, or as a, as a streamer who's been streaming for a while. Because you can get partnerships at any point in time. You just got to be aware of what you're bringing to the table, and if you are being appropriate to be sponsored by. So that was a thing. But on the road to partnership, you got to make sure your community, like you have a good community of people are there, that your numbers are good. But I mean, what I did, there's no trick. There's no trick to partnership. There is not like here's the set things you need to do to get there. I said this previously before. I did a lot. I networked with a lot of people. Not saying like that's how I got partnered, but I networked with a lot of people via, just in general. And with Twitch streamers, I mean, networking on Twitch, that's a huge thing. Networking in the sense of, hanging out in someone's chat, but not wanting to do it as a way of like, hey, let me use you to get ahead. No, it's not like that, because networking is all like when you're tweeting someone, that's networking right there. Not in the way of like trying to be like, oh, well, let me use you to get ahead. Like I said, it's just networking. You're talking, you're communicating with people. That's one way. But you start gaining friends on Twitch, and you want to further your brand or whatever, just being active in like all sorts of things, activities. I got involved. One thing, a tip that I told people is that there is a show on Twitch called Twitch Weekly that plays every Friday at 3 p.m. CST time. A lot of people don't know about this, and I don't know why, but if you are a Twitch streamer who is trying to go for partnership, you probably should know about this show. Basically, on Fridays, they talk about all the events going on Twitch. They do spotlight stuff, and I was on the broadcaster spotlight last year. I applied on their website. Basically, I made a 60-second video about my stream, my community, and I sent it in. And a few months later, they picked it, and that's where pretty much everything for me started. When my video got picked and I was on there, people started to see, oh wow, like this kid's pretty cool. Like let's go check him out. And I've gained a lot of friends from that whole process, and that was cool. And the thing about it is that on a professional level, like you can use that. That's why Twitch is crazy great, because like the job I currently have now, you can use your experience on Twitch to make pretty much your own portfolio of things that you've done. And with that, after I did the Twitch Weekly thing, I did the Twitch Chicago meetups last year. Basically, I wanted to start a meetup in my city, and for people who stream on Twitch, people who watch Twitch, to come together in one area and like have fun, network, meet other people. You necessarily don't have to do that, but that was just something out of my own self, that I wanted to do something different, so I could focus myself in wanting to further my brand, and also learning more about myself and what I could do, and hosting events. And because that's what I always wanted to do. I wanted to host an event, but I never knew what I wanted to do. And this was something that I wanted to dive into. And now, three Twitch meetups later, and it's still going. And we've gained a great community of people and sponsors, of people who have come together, now become friends. We have people in relationships now who've met there, which is awesome. So that was one thing I had on my kind of resume for Twitch. Like, hey, I did this, I did that, I did that, I did that. And another thing I did was for TwitchCon last year, I ended up writing a panel for how to broadcast on a budget, basically talking about what you should do and not do when you first start off streaming, just in all sorts of levels as a Twitch streamer. And with that, I was able to showcase like, hey, like this kid can do this. Like I was on Twitch, and I was with everybody was partnered, and I wasn't at the time, but like I was serious about what I wanted to do on Twitch, and it showed that. So that was another thing I added on there. And after that, it was just that I just kept pushing and kept going, and I kept meeting people, and conventions was a big thing for me. Like this is one thing, like if you're going to TwitchCon and this is your first con ever, or if you go to any cons and you're a Twitch streamer, one huge thing, you need to make sure that you have business cards with your Twitch stream, your social media, or whatever, your email, anything. You need all that, because at the time that, like, you say you meet someone at a convention, hey, my name is so-and-so, I stream, I play these kinds of games, love to check out your product, or like, let's like reach out to each other later, here's my card. Boom, you got that person, and now you guys can connect on another level, like, hey, like what can we do for each other, or like let's be friends, let's see what we can do. So business cards are very important, especially at conventions. I wouldn't say use them like at like the grocery store. Someone's like, hey, can I talk to you? He's like, oh yeah, here's my business card for Twitch. I wouldn't use it then. But business cards are very important. at that aspect of conventions, as well as Twitch partnership on the road to it. You cannot be discouraged if you apply and you get denied. There is no secret number. There is no secret time that it will happen. There's no amount of followers. There's no amount of views. I mean, there's an amount of views, but it's not always the same. Don't be discouraged if you get denied. I got denied several times. I think definitely over 10 times. When you get the denial letters, they give you the option to ask them, but why did I get denied? Or I don't know if they still do that now, but at the time you could reply like, well, what can I do better? Can you tell me why I got denied? And they, at the time when I was applying, you know, they would tell me like, hey, this is what is wrong with your, not what is wrong with your stream, but this is what you could improve on. This is what we saw. This is what you could do. Take those, what they say to you, and try to implement that if that's what you're going for, because that usually helps you. They tell you, this is what we're looking for. This is what will help you. And take those and try to see if you can change it. When I got those denial letters, everything that they would say, I changed it. You know, I got told that my stream just, it didn't make sense because like at the time, there was no real concept and people didn't know what, like what my name was for. Like, where did it come from? What is UGR Gaming? A lot of people don't know that was a website I started in 2002, you know, and I just streamed by mistake. Like, people don't know that. So you need to do things so people know who you are, or if you're, or a group, if you're a group of streamers, like who you guys are. And that's why when I got that note, I decided to make all my panels like feature me as different like gaming characters, so people saw it was me. Like when I decided to switch it from like, okay, this is me as a streamer, like I'm a streamer, like this is not for my website anymore. My website, yes, it's under the same name, but this, when I'm on Twitch, I'm the streamer. I'm not, hey, come check out my website, that's what I'm streaming. Make sure you when you do apply, make sure that it's spelled correctly, make sure that it's like legible, make sure that it's not like, hey, partner me. I've heard stories from people that that's what they get. Hey, partner me. Okay, let's go ahead and just partner that person. Let's see, what else is like, I'm like trying to think what else is on the road to partnership. There's like a lot involved. You know, you just can't get discouraged if you get denied. You just gotta, don't apply all the time either. Don't do that all the time. It just is not a good look, because they know how many times you applied. You don't want to keep applying because like, well, I'm gonna apply next week. They want to see the difference of time and change. They want to see that, okay, you applied this month and you applied again this month. Okay, you've had this much growth. So like you're this much closer that if we want to partner you, then we do it. And also you got to remember that Twitch is not going to partner every single person who applies to them. So, I mean, unfortunately, you need to also know that, you know, not every single person is going to get partnered on Twitch. You got to think about it and say like, hey, like it is, if you really honestly want partnership, you got to grind for it, but you can't, I mean, not every single person who applies for partnership is going to get partnered, which it's a reality. You just got to think about it. I'm trying to think of what else is good. Like I'm trying to, like, there's so many things that have changed. As a growing person who wants to be partnered on Twitch, I would say the most rewarding thing that is when or if you get partnered is that if you did it on your own, you know, like I've said this in tweets before, and I know a lot of people feel about this. You know, support on Twitch is great. Rating people is great. Supporting other casters is great, you know, but you don't want to be riding the coattails of another person. So it's just like, oh, the reason why this person got partnered is because this person pretty much like sent everybody to them all the time. You want to be able to feel, I'm not going to knock anybody if that's what you want to do. Get to however you want. But it's more respectable and you feel more accomplished when you have done it yourself without someone else getting you there. You know, supporting other casters is great. I have friends who rated me, friends who rate me now, who support me, shout me out, all that stuff. That's great. And I appreciate that. You know, that is support. That's great support. But I know for a fact that there's not one person who can say that the reason that you got partnered is because of me and I did it and you didn't do any work to get here. I did it for you. You want to feel great about yourself. You want to say when you get partnered that day, you fill out that contract that I got myself here. I worked hard to get here. You know, I worked my ass off to get here. You know, of course, support from friends is great. That's what you want. But as long as you are working hard to get there yourself, that is more respected, and you'll feel much better when you are doing it yourself. But of course, there's gonna be people who are just gonna be like, well, I'm just gonna be friends with one of the biggest streamers on Twitch, and I'm just gonna like just reap in the benefits. All right, well, that's you. Go do you. Not my problem. I'm not worried about that. But it's always great and a great accomplishment when you do it yourself. And let me see. As I guess we can move on to a partner broadcaster. So yeah, because I'm like a lot of these things I have talked about already, so I'm trying not to over talk about the same things I've talked about millions of times. But now we're moving on to now you got partnered. Here you go. So you get that email that says you have now been accepted to the Twitch partnership program. Excitement. Yes, I've done it. It's happened. You know, you filled out the forms and the contracts and all that stuff. First thing, you need to make sure that you know about your taxes. Make sure that you be aware that at the point you get to partnership, you will have to do taxes. I don't know if you have someone who does them, if you do them yourself, you got to make sure that you have to do your taxes, as well as like if you make a certain amount of money on Twitch, like through donations, you have to tax that as well. So make sure that if you are partnered, that you know that when it comes tax time, that you're taking care of that. And also, yeah, you got to make sure you take care of that. One thing that is kind of unfortunate about Twitch partnership is that when you get partnered, they partner you, and then it is, here you go. We're going to throw you out there. Now you got to figure it out, pretty much. And yeah, you pretty much are out there, you're flying, and you got to do your own thing. When I got partnered, I had no idea what was going on. I was really upset. And this is one thing I wish they would change, and I think they are working on it, but at the time I got partnered, there was not anything. I pretty much had to ask other streamers what to do, how to figure out the dashboard, how do subs work, how does emotes work. I mean, there is information out there, but they don't provide that information to you like in an email saying, hey, like this is where you need to go if you want to do all this stuff, like at all. They don't tell you that. You got to go find it yourself. So you need to be aware of that. Hopefully, if you are going for partnership, you know another Twitch broadcaster that you can talk to about this. If you don't, and somehow you got to partnership without knowing anybody, and you're watching this video right now, feel free to contact me, and I will love to help you, because I know what it's like, because I had no idea what I was doing, and you know, just to have to figure it all out on your own, it kind of sucks. But you know, make sure that, you know, a lot of this stuff is on the Twitch Reddit. If you don't know what the Twitch Reddit is, you probably want to check into that. They have a lot of the guidelines on there, and also on the Twitch blogs, they have a lot of stuff. You want to know your emote sizes. You want to know if the emotes you want to put up are in code, because they have recently switched it again. So you got to make sure that you're up to date with that, because they did do a big emote purge recently, and they took out a lot of emotes that a lot of people were using. So you want to make sure your emotes are in code, and your sub badges are in code and everything. But I would say, especially, we're going to go back real quick, back to the road to partnership. If you are on that road to partnership and you feel good about that you may get partnered, or that you want to get partnered, have emotes on the ready. Have ideas coming, because if it's unexpected. I got partnered, I had no idea it was going to happen. And I didn't have any emotes. The day that I got partnered, I had to find somebody to scramble to make emotes. Luckily I had some really good emotes. Right there. But you want to have them on the ready, because if it happens to you out of nowhere, you want to be prepared, because you want your viewers to be able to have them the day that sub button hits. And if you have the emotes ready, that's perfect. And another thing, sub button, they don't give you a time when it'll show up. Like I said, this video, like when I make this video now, like it may change, it may tell you, I don't know. But at the time this video is being made, or what happened to me, I had no idea when my button would show up. After I filled out all the stuff, it was just like, okay, it was a waiting game. And a lot of people wait like a week. Well, they'll wait a week, or they wait a few days. Mine came like out of nowhere. I was like trying to do this whole big thing where I was gonna surprise everybody, be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna quit Twitch, and they're like, surprise, a partner. But then I was on the way home from it, and then like someone tweeted me, like, oh wait, you got a sub button on your channel, and it like ruined the surprise. So just be prepared that like the button may show up out of nowhere, and you're like, oh oops, well I guess that ripped that. Or yeah, it'll show up eventually. So let's think other Twitch partner stuff. Just yeah, ask other people if you need help, because like they like at this time they won't. There's like, if they won't tell you, you gotta go find it yourself. You gotta find the information yourself. Also if you are partnered, you want to reach out to. There is a Twitch partnership email. Partnership. I think it's partnership help at twitch.tv. I don't remember, but there is a partnership email that you can email if you have any questions about anything, and someone will reach out to you. At this point, I would say try to find who like the Twitch like partnership help people are. Make sure you know them, because if you have any questions, those are the people you need to go to if you have any sort of questions on anything. Those are who you need to contact. Twitch support, don't do that. I like, even as like not even a partner, as anything, I would not rely on Twitch support to help me at all, because they don't answer, pretty much they only answer like certain people, and pretty much the whole thing is just there. Just if something big is happening on Twitch, like a problem, they release it there. They don't have people who are there to answer questions that people may have. To me, some people are like, well, it's Twitch. To be honest, that's not an excuse, because I worked on like I said before, I worked on a big corporation, and we had a team of like 10 people, and our job was to answer every single tweet or Facebook message that came out of there. That was our job. So that's not an excuse that, oh well, it's Twitch, so they don't have to answer everybody. No, it's possible. It's just that they don't. The Twitch support doesn't do that. The Twitch support Twitter doesn't do that, and it should, because there are a lot of people who have legit problems and they don't have people to go to. Like, unfortunately, if you're not a partner broadcaster, you really don't really have much places to go if you need help. If something is happening to your stream, or something's not popping up, you don't really have much places to go. You can go to Reddit, you can make a forum there and people will help you, but not everybody likes to use Reddit as well. So that's kind of like okay. Let's think. So another thing about partnership, let's see, tips. Make sure you know your sub goal counts. Twitch gives you an amount of sub goals. You have to reach a certain amount of subs to get certain emote tiers. I think it goes 50, 100, 200, 250, 500. I don't remember. I think it's 1,000. After that, it's just like, okay, I won't give over 500. I don't know. Yeah. But make sure you know those. It is hard. I will tell you, like, I lucked out. The first month I was partner, I hit 250 subs in a month, and that is hard to do. That is very hard to do. Like it wasn't an easy thing, you know. So just, I say, like, your first month, if you're a partner, you just started, just be appreciative people are even subbing to your channel, because you don't want to put your mindset of like, oh, I gotta hit this certain tier, like this certain tier to get the next emotes. The only reason I did it was because that I knew, and this is a great tip, so you know, I knew at the time that my month of being a partner was over. When you hit the next month, everybody who subbed, who unsubbed, that number drops. So I knew in my own head that, like, hey, we're like so close to getting 250. We have to hit this before like it drops. We have to hit it. I at least wanted the emote. So because once you hit a certain sub tier, you get a new emote spot. But if you hit below that sub tier and you had deleted the emote, or it's not there at the time that it drops, you will lose those spots. You will lose them. I've learned that the hard way. When I hit 250, I decided to change the two emotes that I decided to put up, and unfortunately the day that it happened was the same day that it was a new month. I lost, like, I was under 250 and I lost the 2 emote slots. So that was a big issue too. So you got to know about that as well. Just be aware of, like, when you got partnered, when is the turnover, because you got to realize, like, people don't have to sub to you. They can unsub to you. And all, you know, like if that happens, you can't be mad at people for not subbing back to you. That and unfortunately, there are partners out there who get angry with people who don't sub to them, and I think that's so over the line. I think that's so rude and disrespectful to like yell at somebody or get mad and be like, why are you not a sub? Or you're not a sub to my channel. I mean, I've joked around a few times, be like, oh, you're not subbed anymore? Oh, whatever. But like, I've seen legit people get angry and be like, why are you even in my channel if you're not going to be subbed anymore? That is beyond rude. No one on Twitch has to sub to anybody. It's another way to support the caster just in general. So just be appreciative that anybody is subbing to the channel. So that's rude when people do that. But always ask for help if you need it. That's I guess my last thing, because always ask for help if you need it. Twitch is a big platform. It's always changing. There's always new stuff happening. Like as the last few months have happened, there's been so many different things that's happened. Just be aware of what's going on Twitch, just so you know. If something were to change or something were to happen, you're on the know of like, okay, now this has happened. Let me make sure I know that. But yeah, overall, like this video is always meant to give you some sort of help or some tips. Obviously, I didn't go over every single thing. I don't know every single thing. But, you know, this is what I thought was important for people to know about. If you already know it, all right, good for you. If you didn't know about it, that is what I want. I would love for you to hopefully help in any sort of way. Because I know myself, I watched a lot of these Twitch tip videos. And a lot of these people that I watched, I'm now friends with now, which is funny. Like, like later on in life, I ended up finding out like, hey, I watched your Twitch tip video. I'm friends with you now. I'm subbed to you. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, always ask for help if you need it. There's always someone who will be willing to help. Just don't be a jerk about it. There's probably people who are just jerks. But yeah. This is probably like a 45-minute long video or probably longer. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I undo this. This is a closing. So thank you so much for joining me on the Twitch Tips Video 2.0 partnership, road to partnership and beginning streamer edit version edition. There you go, that's the word I was looking for. Again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you want to sub to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button at the bottom. You can also come follow me on Twitch or Twitter at UGR Gaming. I pretty much stream as much as I can, so I would love to see you. If you ever check out this video, you want to come check me out, I can guarantee you it's an entertaining time. All right, this video may have been serious and kind of, you know, but I'm an entertaining broadcaster, as my mom tells me all the time, so I know about that. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate that. Hopefully these tips helped you out. Feel free to send this to anybody that you know who may be looking for some sort of help or any guide about anything. And I'm always open to helping anybody out. Tweet me. You can leave a comment on here. I respond back to everything, positive or negative. If it's really negative, I will not respond. But I'm willing to help. So I'm one person who will definitely help you if you need it. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video, and we are out. Goodbye.